This is presented by HPS Trade, Japanese freight forwarder in Thailand. Hello, it's Ino. In this video, I would like to explain about export operations. In international transportation, it is essential to understand the flow of goods, documents, and money. A rough explanation of the flow of the process is that there is an exchange of documents, such as contracts and shipping documents, at the beginning. Then the goods are shipped and the money is received. However, this may be difficult to understand, so I will explain it in an easy-to-understand manner in this video. The flow of money this time is LC transaction. A detailed video on LC transaction made earlier is linked in the overview section. First, let me explain the flow of goods, products. There are two methods of transportation, sea and air. In general, 90% of international shipments are transported by sea. Two of the advantages of ocean transport are that it is inexpensive and convenient for shipping large packages or quantities of goods. On the other hand, there are some disadvantages, such as taking time and strict checking of declaration documents. Therefore, it is decided whether to use sea or air as the transportation method by discussing between the exporter and the importer, the contents of the goods to be shipped and the costs involved. In this video, I will explain about ocean transportation. After the goods are produced and packed at the exporter's factory, they are loaded into containers or trucks, and transported to bonded areas such as CY or CFS. The responsibility for transportation and freight charges are determined by Incoterms at the time of contract. Incoterms are trade terms and conditions that define the scope of responsibility and cost between an exporter and an importer in conducting trade. As of 2021, Incoterms 2020 is in use. Let's take the case of Ex Works as an example. Once the exporter hands over the goods to the importer at their factory, all responsibility is transferred to the importer's side. Therefore, if any damage occurs to the goods between the factory and the bonded area, the responsibility will be borne by the importer. Once the goods have been transported to the bonded area, they will be delivered after receiving an export license from the customs office, and the shipping procedure will proceed. The following is a brief explanation of bonded areas related to exports. In case that the goods are FCL cargo, they are dispatched from CY, container yard, and loaded onto the vessel by gantry crane. If it is LCL cargo, which is small cargo less than 1 container unit, it is mixed with other LCL cargo at the CFS, container freight station. After that, transported to the CY, to be loaded onto the vessel in the same way as FCL cargo. After departure from the vessel, the goods are transferred to the importing country, and the export is completed. Next, I will explain the flow of documents, shipping documents. Shipping documents are looked over by forwarders and customs agents on a daily basis. The main documents are as follows: invoice, BL, bill of lading, insurance policy, packing list, certificate of origin, if you want to apply for EPA, etc. In general, the documents are prepared by the exporter. It is easy to make mistakes in describing the name, amount, and value of the goods. If there are any errors or discrepancies with the goods, there is a possibility that you cannot export. Note that in the case of ocean transport, the decision tends to be more stringent than in air transport. For this reason, exporters try to declare their goods in a perfect state by double or triple checking to ensure that there are no document errors. The exporter sends SI, shipping instruction, to the forwarder or customs agent. The contents of SI are related to the work to be requested, cargo information, shipping documents, and booking information, ETD, vessel, voyage number, etc. The format varies from exporter to exporter. BL issued after the ship leaves port is based on the information contained in SI. The forwarder or customs agent makes an export declaration to customs based on SI. Currently, many export cargoes are declared using the NACS in Japan. The declaration is completed by entering the declaration information in NACS and sending it to customs. In case of Japan with NACS, after declaring, the following 3 categories will be output. Category 1, Expedited Screening. Export license is granted immediately after filing the declaration. Category 2, Document Examination. Documents need to be submitted. Category 3, Inspection. Customs officers will visit the bonded area for physical inspection. Most of the shipments will be classified as Category 1. However, if the customs decides to classify the shipment as Category 2 or 3, it will take some time to obtain a permit. Therefore, if the cargo is urgent, follow the instructions of the customs office to get the permit as soon as possible. Forwarders and customs agents prepare shipping documents, doc receipt, CLP, etc., and submit them to shipping companies. Doc receipt is prepared based on SI, according to the shipping company's format. CLP, container load plan, is created by the shipper to clarify what is in what position in the container. The shipping company issues BL and hands it to the forwarder and customs agent. If the Incoterms is CIP, CPT, DAP, in which the exporter is responsible for the ocean freight, the exporter can receive BL by paying the freight cost to the shipping company in advance. However, in general, the forwarder advances the freight charges and bills the shipper later. At this time, double-check that BL is issued as per the information on SI. Also, since this is a container ship, make sure that the onboard notation at the bottom of BL is dated and signed by the shipping company or agent. In the case of LC transaction, onboard notation have value as a guarantee that the goods are properly loaded on the ship and headed for the port of import. Thus, it is important to be aware of this. Forwarders and customs agents hand over the shipping documents, such as export license and BL, to the exporter. The exporter sends the importer the shipping documents and SA, shipping advice, to let them know that the shipment has been completed. It is fine to send SA twice by email, once when the schedule is decided, and once when the ship leaves port. The importer receives SA and documents, and prepares to pick up the shipment. The exporter presents documentary bill, together with the shipping documents, to the bank and requests the purchase. Once documentary bill and LC are verified, settlement is made. And the goods are delivered to the importer, the export is complete. Finally, I will explain about money, payment. This time, I will explain the flow of payment in LC transaction. LC is an abbreviation for letter of credit. LC transaction makes the exporter can receive the payment once the goods are shipped. So it avoids the situation where the goods are sent but no money is received. The importer, on the other hand, does not have to pay for the goods before receiving them, thus eliminating the risk of loss of payment. LC transaction is a method that has great advantages for both parties. In the case of LC transaction, the payment appears after shipping is loaded. After loading, the exporter requests exporter side bank to purchase documentary bill, which is various shipping documents, such as BL. At this time, if the contents of documentary bill match LC, the transaction will be settled. Then, exporter side bank sends documentary bill, shipping document, to importer side bank, and receives remittance of payment from importer side. Importer side bank notifies the importer of the arrival of the shipping documents, and requests payment, then the importer pays the bank. Importer side bank remits the payment to exporter side bank, to complete the process. What did you think? In exporting, goods, documents, and money are intricately intertwined, and play different roles. In the beginning, it may seem a little complicated. However, after a few times of practical experience, you will gain a deeper understanding, and feel the joy of export business. That's all for this time. Thank you very much.
In this channel, I explain about international logistics knowledge for your better understanding. I hope this video will be a good support for your logistics job. If you have any shipment from Thailand or to Thailand, please feel free to contact me Ino-san anytime. Also, I'm very motivated to keep updating these videos. If you subscribe, press good or comment anything. Well, thank you. See you next time.